Right, now, as a trainer and somebody who's already been through the exam, one of the questions gets asked all the time, can you give me exam tips? Okay, so I'm going to give you David's exam tips to help you out. So you get an hour to answer 40 questions. Okay, it is actually plenty of time. So, exam tip number 1. If there is a question that you do not understand and it's frustrating you, don't spend too much time on it. Instead, what you should do, flag it, move on to the next question. I've seen people get really flustered on a question and then the next question be something quite easy and they mess that one up because they're still flustered from the first question. Okay, just move on. The second is, don't spend every 2 seconds looking at the clock. I actually had somebody before that looked at the clock so many times that they lost 10 minutes from their exam just by looking at the clock. The next part of this is, a lot of times I spend time finding the wrong answers before I find the right one. So, obviously you're gonna have A, B, C, or D. The question goes blah, 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 blah. What I end up doing is looking at A and going, that's incorrect, B, incorrect, C, incorrect. So the obvious answer is going to be what's left is D. Sometimes there's 2 answers. You can really quickly go, those are incorrect. Reread the question before you pick that answer. So we have this thing called RTFQ. Do you know what it stands for? Read the full question and read the full answer. That means read the question, read the answer, sometimes reread the question again. The reason why I say that is because some of us that speed read, you usually hover on a word, but don't read the rest of the sentence and you go wrong. Now, before your examination, do not say something silly to yourself. What happens if I fail? I've seen people do that right before the exam and they go in and they fail the exam. So, what happens if you fail the exam? Absolutely nothing. Nobody puts a black bag over your head and takes you off and ships you to a prison somewhere, right? Something happened. You retake that exam. Book it, retake it, okay? Nothing bad's gonna happen. Now that you know that, think about it. The worst that's gonna happen is that you have a stumble on your exam, which I don't expect you're going to. But understanding that that's the worst that's going to happen eases that anxiety before you go into an exam. Try to book your exam earlier rather than later. When I say earlier, I do mine in the morning. Why? Because your brain starts to decline usually around 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. If you could do it on a Saturday morning, book it for a Saturday morning. It works. Make sure that you walk into that exam nice and calm. So what do I mean by that? Have a drink, have something, a snack, and don't study up until the last minute. Usually when you do that, unless you're one of those people that can, you frazzle the brain before you ever walk into your exam. So maybe go take a 10-minute walk, 15-minute break right before your exam. Don't scramble last minute and panic, okay? Scramble around to get all your laptop and everything there and set up. Make sure it's all ready to go. That way you can gently ease yourself into the exam. Now, if there's a question that you really don't know, just leave it. Okay, come back to it later. If it's something that I think it's this one, but I'm not sure, mark it, flag it, come back to it later. If you're 100% sure you got the right answer, just answer it and move on. At the end of the exam, before you complete it, you'll have unanswered questions and flagged questions. Unanswered means you had no clue. Flagged means, you thought about it, but you just want to double check. Last piece of advice, do not spend any extra time going back and changing answers. Now, I'm not telling you not to change the answer. What I'm telling you is, from experience, having done this for so many years, the majority of answers people change were originally right to begin with. So, recent course that I did, there was 28 questions that were changed, and out of 28, 27 were originally right. The one was just a wrong to a wrong, so that's fine. But imagine that, 27 answers were originally right. And what ended up happening is people had time left over, they went back, and they panic switched answers. Don't do that. We want you to walk into your exam, head held high, and just say, I am going to pass this. So do the exercises in the course, do the sample examination, use that sample examination as a study guide. Anything that you missed, go back through the course and relook at those areas. That should be sufficient enough for you to pass your examination, and good luck.